All right, so you knife through, you swing it. So right here, yes.
All right, guys, we're here with Dom Solis of the University of Maryland Terrapins. How you doing, Dom?
I'm pretty good, can't complain.
That's great. I appreciate you having me over at the Xfinity Center and having this interview. I know we kind of have a little bit of history, you being a Marylander, so I'm really excited to really sit down and kind of dig down into some of the things that you've been into over the last few years since you got out of the high school scene and over here in the Big Ten.
Oh yeah.
How are you enjoying your experience so far?
Oh, it's amazing. I literally it's harder than I thought it was gonna be. But 100%, it's a different level than high school. High school, it's you'll get some kids that are every few weekends, but every weekend it's a stud if you're wrestling. So you have to elevate your game 100% once you get to college. And you don't realize that when in the practice room, you're competing every single day with all your brothers, and it's the atmosphere in the room. It's not just one or two guys that are those are good guys in the team. Everyone in the room, we're scrapping, and there's going to be days that you won't get a takedown in the room, which is crazy because you'll go from a high school room where you're just whooping everyone's ass, and then you go to a college room. And there's some days you get humbled, and it's just whoa, holy crap. So, but it's an amazing experience. Just the transition from high school to college, it's been amazing.
That's great. And so you were at McDonough School in Owings Mills, Maryland. Got to see you there compete quite a bit. You were a three-time Maryland private school state champion, two-time National Prep All-American. You also went to Fargo. And you were All-American in Greco, right?
It was actually my first ever Greco tournament. It was kind of weird.
I remember you said that.
Yeah, it was I just went over there and I just did a 201 to a dump.
Everybody was wearing shirts from where their home state is. They used to have an Atlanta, and I thought it was Michigan.
And that's all I did. And I was I guess I'm a Fargo. I thought I was gonna be an All-American in freestyle, which I didn't. I think I lost in the blood round in the All-American in Greco, which is crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Do you do any Greco now?
Oh.
No interest in Greco?
I am not a Greco guy. This upcoming summer, I'm probably definitely going to do some, as long as I'm healthy, some freestyle, U23s. That's
nice.
What I'm going to be my goal. But I've mostly just been focusing on a lot of folk style stuff.
That's
even
awesome.
in the off season.
You talked about a little bit about being in the room in high school and just being able to whip on everybody. Obviously, when you start making it to that high level, that's kind of what happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now it's you get to the room, you're finding it hard sometimes to score. How did you make that transition?
Well, in high school, all I did was a dunk, or a fire. That's all I did, and that's how I scored on most of my opponents. Or I just used my athletic ability and kind of just put them down. Now it's I have shots. I've never had a go-to shot until I got to college. Every single day we are always drilling. If we're on our feet, we're drilling our number one, our number two. And we're doing stutter number one, stutter number two. And we're finding different ways to get to our number one attack and number two attack. When I first got here, I was
Coach, I have a number one attack, and it's crazy because I'm a kid on scholarship. I should be a kid that's
right.
oh, I have a great shot. I don't have one. So I had to develop a number one attack, number two attack, because I would just kind of dive in and just kind of try to dump the kid, or I would just do maybe a snap down go by. It was kind of crazy thinking a pretty high level. I was a 3-time state champ.
Yeah.
Had no number one attack. So I worked with the coaches a lot my freshman year, just penetrated. My penetration step was awful, and now I feel extremely comfortable with a high crouch or even a double. So my number one attack is my double leg, and I've worked on that a million times. In individuals in practice, number one attack, hitting my double. So it's I've elevated my game on my feet 10 times. Just because now I feel comfortable hand fighting, and getting to attack. And also in college, it's like you have to hand fight to your attack, and you can't just like dive in. You have to set it up. In high school, I kind of was just like, I would hand fight with no purpose. And so in college, you have to hand fight with a purpose. You have to hand fight to your number one ties, and you have to get to, like, I'm very comfortable in a left-hand collar tie. So I'm always working trying to get to that left-hand collar tie to set up a shot. Now it's, in high school, it was like, I'm just kind of just slapping each other around and just kind of move the guy. Now I'm focusing on, I have to be purposeful with my hand fight. So I think a big thing was finding my number one and number two attack, and my hand fighting game. It's like elevated to where I'm hand fighting with a purpose instead of just like hand fighting.
That's awesome, and it's very noticeable when you go when I come here and I come see you wrestle. That I mean, your leg attack is boom, you're hitting your knee and you're bouncing off. And then I saw that with Cochran. I see it with Jaron. What's going on? I mean, you guys are 74 people last year, 74, 80, 84, it's 97.
Yeah, 97.
It looks like you guys are all wrestling almost the same style.
Oh yeah, Kyle was my practice partner last year, so we're
nice.
And also, funny, his go-to is that high fashion. So like we work on it, every individuals, and then we're working on it, and like we're constantly working on number ones and number twos. So all of us are very athletic, so we're using that to our abilities and to our advantage. So it's pretty special. That we all have like kind of similar style, but we're all also a little different.
Yeah, exactly. Walk us through maybe one of the shining moments you've had here at Maryland. You were 7th at the Big Ten Championships. You got to go to the NCAA Championships last year, which is pretty special, right? Were you a redshirt?
So technically, I was a freshman. I was a true freshman as a coach. So my first year here, COVID pretty much didn't count. So last year, my true freshman year was my true sophomore year. And then I'm planning on redshirting. I'm not sure 100% when I'm going to redshirt. So I plan to be here 6 years. But
the special moment last year was there was a couple. Pitt, I ended up majoring my first ever ranked opponent, which was amazing. I literally was like, I teared up after. I was like, wow, that was.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah,
it was crazy. I was like, wow, I can't believe I did that. We had a lot of special moments last year. Navy, I somehow pulled it together and got two stall calls to tie it to go to overtime.
Yeah.
I was so tired and so exhausted after that match. You could like see it on my face. Like I have a picture of me getting my hand raised, and I'm literally just like, I was like in so much pain because I gave it all I had, and just like being able to come back out after it took me 15 minutes to like get back together, and we ended up beating Navy the first time in like I think it's like 8 years, which is amazing. And I don't think Navy's beating us anytime soon. We're on the come up. We're growing. So that was an amazing experience.
I have two more. So Troy Fisher last year, he was the top 20 kid, first ever top 20 ranked win the season. It kind of put me on the map a little bit. And it was like, Dom Solis. I think I ended up getting into the 4 rankings finally. After that win, it was a pretty dominant win. I think I had 2 takedowns on him. It was on the road. It was at Northwestern. We didn't do good as a team. I think we had 2 wins as a team. I think it was just me and Kyle. But as an individual, from an individual standpoint, it felt good. It just doing stuff every single day in the room and doing the exact same thing on the mat. It's like, wow, like I actually drill this every single day, and being able to hit this in a match, it's like it's just an amazing feeling.
And then Big Tens last year. 2 ranked wins. I beat Garrett Nighthouse, who was I think 15th or 16th at the time. So that was it was first round. I had him beat him. Just kind of stuck to the game plan. Just before every match, coach would tell me the game plan, like what we're doing. I'm just like, all right, this is the game plan. Just stick to it. And I trust my coaches with everything. Like I trust them with my training. I trust them with match awareness. I trust them like, pick up his leg like this during the match. Like I trust them with everything, and because they just want the best for me, and they're so knowledgeable. They're amazing coaches. So went through the game plan and just kind of wore the guy down the whole first and second period, And then third period came and was just so exhausted that I was like, looking to take down. I remember looking at my coach and I was like flexing away at him, and there's like actually a photo of it, and that was a very big highlight.
Later that day, I ended up meeting DJ Shannon, which was he was I think he was a top 25 guy, top 30 guy. So just 2 ranked wins at the Big Ten weekend was a great feeling, and that was the match here to go to nationals. So we're just like, wow, I have the opportunity to go to nationals. This is amazing. I didn't have the national tournament that I wanted. I think the nerves got to me a lot, and maybe I checked out a little bit. But I'm glad I got the experience, and I'm glad I went. I'm not happy how I performed, but I think it was necessary for how I trained this summer, because it was definitely very motivating for my training this summer. Especially reminding me of it. Trust me, when I'm hurting, they're like them NCAAs last year. You're right, it gets me going, it gets me chills. So those are probably the top. I think it was 4 moments last year that was pretty good.
That's awesome to hear. You referred to your coaches quite a bit. It must, like, your success must really validate what they're doing, right? You trust what they're telling you. You trust in their training and the game planning. It sounded like you're game planning constantly for your opponents and to prepare it. How does that affect you mentally? You know, maybe then somebody that you didn't have that you could trust like that before.
I could literally consider some of the coaches some of my best friends. Like, I tell them, very open and honest with them. I've watched probably hours of film of them with me. I trust that I can tell them something. Like, if I'm banged up a little bit, I'm like, hey, this is hurting. I trust your opinion. What should I do? Is this something I need to tell out, or is this something I need to hold back on? Like, I feel extremely comfortable talking to them about stuff that is hard. Even if it comes to school, like, hey, I'm struggling with this one class. Hey, can you help me get it too? Yes, gotcha. Like I'm very open and honest. Oh, I didn't do well on this assignment. Oh, that's okay. Maybe I have a bad grade in the class now, but we can work through it. Like, I feel very comfortable with that, and I feel like that has made me want to compete for them more.
Sure.
So when I go out there, I know I'm competing for myself, my family, my team, and my coaches, because I know they care so much. Like, if I want to stay after practice for an extra half an hour, no questions asked, they'll do it. Like, if I want to watch film twice a week, they'll do it. Like, they'll find the time because they're just so committed to me, and it makes me want to compete for them. It makes me want to compete for Maryland. It's an amazing feeling that, like, I have my coaches and I consider them some of my best friends.
That's awesome. Yeah, that really is awesome. Because the stigma around wrestling sometimes, or just even being a male athlete, is like you suck it up and you go figure it out. But you know, I think athletes are getting smarter, coaches are getting smarter, and we treat each other like good human beings. And I think that at the end, that part of a program and its culture can really grow. I talked to Ethan Miller at the Red and Black Wrestle-Offs a little bit, and he kind of touched upon that too. He's like, you know, all my teammates are my brothers, we love each other, we're hanging out a lot, you know. I think that's really important. It seems like you're kind of touching upon those.
Yeah, it literally feels like before, it kind of was like the younger guys and the older guys, and like we were all cool with each other, but like the culture wasn't as strong. But our team has just been so close, like video games all the time together. We hang out on road trips, we're playing Mafia, the card game. We're just having a good time, and we just know, like, we all do the same thing. We all lift the same weights. We all do the same drills. We all do the same conditioning. And it sucks. It's hard. It's very, very difficult. I wouldn't rather do it with anyone else besides my brothers. Like, I literally consider them family. Like, I love them to death. I'm with them all the time. We're doing the same things over and over, competing, wrestling, cutting weight. It's a culture that we're growing, and we're still so young, and there's so much to accomplish and to grow into. But I like where we're at right now, and I'm happy with it, because I understand that as a culture we need to be like self-led, And in order to do that, we need to be able to hold each other accountable. And so one of the pillars in our room is accountability. And being able to hold each other accountable for little things. Like the other day, Jackson, I got a takedown. Jackson Smith, he was watching, and he was like, "You're running around the waist. You can't go around the waist." In middle of practice, I'm the captain. He's not afraid to say something. Like, shouldn't go around the waist. Should go around the thigh right here.
Right.
So, like, that's one thing that we touch on. And he called me out for that, and I appreciate that because he wants me to get better. So we're definitely learning that, like, self-accountability as a team and kind of being self-led and locker room led. Clemmy talks about that a lot. He's like, "I want this team to be locker room led." If we have a problem with the team, we address it with the team. We don't need the coaches, because they have other things they got to worry about.
Yeah, absolutely.
If we need to involve the coaches, we will. But my goal is to be locker room led, and if something needs to be addressed, we address it. So it's awesome that how we're going in that direction right now.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear, because once you hold each other accountable, you really truly cultivate just that a tradition that can keep standing on and on and on. And that's what the program really has kind of suffered from, I guess. It just haven't had a real tradition. Mm-hmm. So that's great to hear that you guys have really cultivated that type of culture here. And it sounds like it's going to keep growing.
Yeah, the coach always talks about the standard and what is the standard for our program. And we're every single year we are raising that standard to what we expect in the weight room, what we expect in our lifestyles, what we expect in the wrestling room, what we expect in our just overall life. Like, what do we do on a daily basis? Our grades. So our standard is growing. And so if you're not matching the standard, you're gonna be lost.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
We're elevating, and so we might have started down here, but we're slowly chipping away, going up. So our standard is getting pretty high. So you either fall off or you hop on the train.
You spoke a little bit about the family feel. Talk a little bit about your connection with Puerto Rico. Your mom reached out to me a few years ago. She talked to me about the potential of you wrestling for Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is just like, actually former coach Terry McCoy, he's sort of kind of leading a little contingent of Puerto Rican athletes for World Team and Olympic. Talk a little bit about that.
So, it's always been something in the back of my mind. My mom always reminds me of it. I would love to compete for the Puerto Rican national team. It's not something, I haven't done too much freestyle, so that's probably why I've stayed a little bit away from it. But if the right opportunity came and I had the opportunity to compete for the Puerto Rican national team, that would be amazing. Because my dad's fully Puerto Rican. I have a Puerto Rican flag in my room. In a lot of my YouTube videos, like, the Puerto Rican flag is right in the background.
I see it, yeah.
So I'm always representing. It's the same flag I got my freshman year of high school. So I'm keeping it. And
nice.
It means a lot to me being Puerto Rican and representing my culture and representing my dad's side of the family, because my grandparents both actually recently passed away. So it's like,
oh, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, so it's that was a very, very difficult part of my life, and whenever I see the Puerto Rican flag, kind of think of them a little bit.
Yeah.
And it just reminds me that they're always there, and so I think that's the side of me that wants to represent them. I want to represent my grandparents, because my grandparents on my dad's side of the family were the type of grandparents that we went over there every Sunday, or they came over every Sunday, and they lived like an hour away, but we always figured it out. I remember having Sunday dinner with them all the time. Without them, it is hard, and I do think about them a lot, and I know my dad dearly misses them. So whenever I see the flag, it definitely.
That's awesome. Hopefully we can see you up there on the podium, hoisting up the Puerto Rican flag. That would be so cool.
Yeah, that would definitely be a tear in my dad's eye. That would be amazing.
I'm sure. Yeah, like, shifting gears here, we'll kind of close it up. Maybe, I was really thinking about this driving over here. Traffic actually wasn't that bad. It took me about an hour. Mm-hmm. For the wrestle-offs, it took me an hour and 45 minutes. it was brutal. But today wasn't bad because I came
Yeah.
when it wasn't rush hour. But I was thinking about this on the way over. I was thinking, maybe tell us a little bit about what your favorite takedown or maybe sequence. You know, when I teach wrestling now, I don't really teach moves. I'm like trying to teach a sequence of moves. And do you have a sequence of moves that's maybe your favorite thing? You said your left hand collar, and then you said your double or high crotch. But maybe talk a little bit about your mindset with some of the stuff that you go to. And then after that, I guess I'll ask you about your favorite wrestling.
All right. My favorite thing to do is to clear. I love clearing. I hate sitting in a tie. I love to clear the tie and get to my left hand collar because I know like if you're hanging, like I'm gonna want to clear it. And if when you're able to clear, you can like both hand clear and you can snap them down and go behind. Go behind is the easiest takedown in wrestling. It's the best takedown in wrestling for a reason. It's because you were in a better position than the higher. So I would say my favorite thing to do is get to my left-hand collar, and as soon as I feel they are collar tying on me or trying to use their other hook, I'm clearing. I mean, I don't want them to be in their tie, I want them to be in my tie. So I think that's probably my number one thing I would give, like I guess, to advice to a high schooler or middle schooler is work on your hand fighting, go to your favorite tie, because my favorite tie, like I said, left-hand collar, I'm very comfortable there, but if you're right arm underhook, get to that underhook position, or if you're a 201, get to your 201 position. So clearing their ties, and then you work into their ties.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's just a constant reminder for every wrestler, right? Even at every level, they're constantly like grabbing on and latching on, and that's when you can feel any attack come in. It's easy to, well, if you're somebody like you're constantly moving them around. It's like can't get anything going.
Yeah.
It's kind of my philosophy. How about favorite wrestler? Do you have one? Do you study anybody outside of like your own stuff?
If I'm being honest, I never really had a favorite wrestler growing up. I would probably say Jordan Burroughs would be my favorite wrestler if I were to just say one. Just because I think I have a very similar double to him.
Yeah.
Like my double is. Like I aspire to have a double like that. Like he has the same shot as me. So it's like I would probably say Jordan Burroughs right now.
Nice, because of the double.
Well, yeah,
it is very similar.
Definitely because of the double, and also his lifestyle. He lives very, very clean, and being able to do what he does still at his age is because of how well he takes care of his body. 100%. So I admire that because I pride myself on my lifestyle. So looking up to that, it's pretty cool.
That's good. Jordan is a class act. He's somebody that many people should be looking up to in our sport, not just as an athlete, but like you said, as a person, the way he lives his life. And I guess to close it out, because you did just talk about sort of your healthy lifestyle. You've got a lot of things going with your supplements, and then you're on YouTube vlogging. Talk to a little bit about being a creator and who you're partnering up with.
Okay, I got you. So I think about it was either last summer or the summer before I started with TikTok, and I just posted a random workout video. It was me like doing a complex of like a deadlift to a hang clean to a deadlift to a power clean to a hang clean to a press, and I was shirtless and I was jacked. It's like a 7-second video, and I posted it and it got like 100,000 views, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." And like I like
TikTok's amazing.
Yeah, I love the feeling. I was like, "Wow, this is awesome!" I gained some followers, and so I posted another video and it got like 2 million views. And it was like, my dad gave me the shirt, once you sweat, it reads something. And so like I prolonged the whole video. It was like a whole workout. At the end I showed what the shirt said. And I think it said pray, lift, eat, or something like that. And it did really well. So like I got hooked. I was like, wow, I want to do social media, and I've always wanted to do social media forever. It just kind of, you always growing up, you're like afraid what other people think, and that whole thing, and which I just completely grown out of. I just do my thing now.
Yeah.
But then I just started posting, and I grew a pretty good following on TikTok, and have like 115,000 followers now.
Nice.
And I wanted to get into YouTube, like full day vlogs, and I posted one YouTube video. It was like what I eat in a day, and it did pretty decent. It had like over 1,000 views, which is great for YouTube.
Yeah.
And I kind of just stopped for a little bit, and I did another video, and then I stopped. But then about, I want to say a little, like 2 months ago, I was like, I'm committed to this. I got my camera, it's like I'm posting every Sunday. And I actually told my manager from the sponsorship that I have, I was like, I'm gonna do this so you can hold me accountable. So I started posting.
I'm at like 500 subscribers right now, and which is great. I'm super happy with. I had set a goal of hitting 1,000 subscribers, so working towards that right now. I do like day in life vlogs, like just behind the scenes of a divisional wrestler, what I eat in a day, kind of how do I cut weight, that sort of stuff. And then recently I posted a video where it was like match day, and I had some clips from the match, and it was Duke, American, and Bloomsburg. It was that whole match, and so it's kind of like a little highlight reel of that. And then so when I was doing my TikTok, before I reached out to the supplement company that I've been obsessed with for like since senior year of high school.
And
What's the name of it?
Bear Performance Nutrition, BPN. And I reached out to them, filled out their ambassador form. I got denied. I was like, dang. So I ended up reading his book. It's called 25 Hours a Day. And it talks about pretty much like going one more. And that's the motto, is go one more.
Sure.
And so I read the book. And then when they opened the ambassador program up again, I applied again. I got accepted this summer,
Nice.
which I literally was like, oh my God, I've been obsessed with this brand. I've been buying their supplements forever.
That's amazing.
So I got accepted, met the manager, and he's awesome. And so I've just been promoting them. I've been promoting them before I was even sponsored by them. Because
Yeah, I've seen you promote them for a while.
I love their products. And so now just being a part of the team is amazing. I'm actually wearing one of the shirts right now.
Oh, nice. Let's see
Yeah,
it.
the BPN, Bear Performance Nutrition.
Oh, very
you
nice.
see it. This is just a classic tee.
Nice.
But I just have a direct link. If you use my direct link, it helps me out.
You have a promo code?
It's no code, but if you use the direct link
Okay.
in my Instagram bio, then I get, it helps me out. You don't get a discount or anything. It's kind of just like a support the creator
Sure,
code.
sure.
But yeah, it's been awesome because it's just like another thing that I have under my sleeve. Like I have my wrestling, I have my social media, but now I have this like BPN like team that I work with, and it's like there's a whole bunch of other ambassadors that I work with, and I'm coming pretty close with. So it's really cool that I get to work with kind of like another team outside of wrestling.
Yeah.
And they support all my videos. They support my Instagram, my TikTok, and they just support me wrestling too. So it's just like it's kind of just like another team that I'm a part of, which is amazing. And I plan to be. I'm an ambassador. I plan to be an athlete for them one day.
Oh, that's great.
Hopefully, I can do it within the next year or two, which would be amazing. But they have like whey protein, greens and reds powder I take every day.
A whole bunch of different supplements, pre-workouts.
Yeah, I see some of the shakes you make.
Oh yeah,
They look pretty
they're
good.
they're so good, and that's the thing about their whey protein. It's like it literally tastes like a milkshake. It's so good because I've had whey protein growing up, and it's like kind of just chug it because it tastes kind of
Right,
bad.
right.
This is like wow, I can make stuff with this. Like I have protein cereal that I had last night with it, or I make overnight oats with it, and it's actually like oh, this is so good. Like I really do it, and we have tons of different flavors like. All the way from just regular standard chocolate or cookies and cream, all the way to like apple pie.
Wow.
We just came out with the new strawberry flavor, which is I think my favorite flavor. You know those strawberry shortcake like ice cream things?
Yeah.
It tastes exactly like that.
Oh,
and I'm just like,
I gotta try that.
It's literally so good. And so yeah, I take well, pretty decent amount of supplements every day. I take collagen. And the thing about BPN is they're all third-party tested. So NCAA, you won't get flagged in drug tests. So that's like a big thing for me because like I got drug tested like 3 weeks ago because you just get randomly drug tested. Like anyone on the team could have got it. And I wasn't even worried because all the supplements I take are third-party tested and I know I'm clean. So it's an amazing feeling, and plus the products are amazing. They're really healthy for you, and they improve my performance. And one of the products I take is B1G. It's kind of like a Gatorade. It has carbs and it has sodium, but it's like I think it has very little sugar, no sugar at all. I don't exactly remember, but I took it before practice the other day. I could tell a difference. Like I felt so good. Like I felt energized, and it's crazy how much these supplements help because during the season it's hard to get the right nutrition in because you're cutting weight, so you have to cut out some stuff. So absolutely love all the products. I highly, even if I wasn't connected with them at all, I would highly recommend them.
Awesome, Dom. Well, I appreciate your time and
Appreciate you.
so much.